Hello and welcome to Weekend Investing Daily Bites. This is August 5th. We are shooting episode number 66. And let's first go and look at the markets. But before that, let me introduce the topic to you. Today's topic is what to do with Vodafone Idea shares if you're holding them, and what we should have done all this while. Nevertheless, the markets were soft today after two very strong days of run on the Nifty. The markets have taken a breather. The banks took a bigger hit, especially the PSU banks, especially in the wake of Mr. Birla giving up the chairman position, and it seems now that Vodafone Idea is headed towards some sort of insolvency proceedings, or it may be tried to merge it with some PSU based telecom like BSNL or MTNL. And this entire episode has huge ramifications for the banks. About 1.8 lakh crores worth of debt is sitting on its books, and SBI, PNB, IndusInd Bank, IDFC, they are all big lenders to this company. I'm not saying that this is shutting down or anything like that, but there can be some major reverberations because of these restructurings or the events that may unfold over the next months and years for this company. So banks took a huge hit. Metals were on the rise. IT sector was on the rise. FMCG led by ITC was on the rise. So all in all, not such a bad day for most of the market, but minus the banking and minus small caps and mid caps, they continued to be soft for a third day, and large caps were in a totally different sort of territory here. In terms of the indices, small cap index, as you can see, small cap 100, small cap 250, mid and small cap 400, they all lost ground. Even Nifty Next 50 was down, and Nifty 50 and CNX 200 were up marginally. So in terms of the weekend investing small cases, MI25 and MI50, they both did well despite small caps being down. So that's pretty good actually. And MI80H, MI80H2, MI35, MI20, MI all cap, they were either flattish or in slight red today. Let's come back to the topic of the day, what you should do with Vodafone Idea. So I've been tweeting about this for the last few sessions, and 3 days back it was sitting at a very nice support point at around 8 rupees, and it had seen this support point about multiple times in the last 1 year, and it always went from 8 to 11, 8 to 12, and then come back to 8. So a lot of people, they feel that if there is a strong support point, then there is no downside, and the stock will get supported. So that may or may not happen all the time. So this time that support break, and you are seeing in this chart how in 3 sessions from around 8 rupees the price reached to 4.5 odd today, and recovered back a little bit maybe towards the end. So almost 70-80% capital even from 3 days back got wiped out. So this notion of what can we lose in Idea or any other penny stock is really a something that you should think about. If somebody is invested a large amount, let's say at 70 rupees, 100 rupees, for them, yes, 5 rupees or 8 rupees is somewhat similar. They've lost 95% of the capital, and this has become like a lottery ticket for them. If it revives and survives, then maybe something can be restored. So if you've lost 95% of your capital, and that 5% is not significant enough for you as a absolute value, then maybe you can play the lottery. because nobody really knows how this will play out. If it goes into insolvency, most likely all the equity shareholders will be wiped clean, zero. Banks will take a huge haircut, and whoever is the next player, buyer, owner who will put in some more equity and run this operation. I mean, there are almost some very large number of users that this company has, uh, maybe like 25 crores or maybe something like that. And of course, this has value, but the value is, you know, eclipsed by the amount of debt it has. So there will need to be haircuts on the debt, and there will need to be total wipeout of equity if it goes to insolvency. If it is merged with some other player, private or public, then equity may get some value, some salvage value, which I don't know if it can be too much more than this actually, because everybody will, want to have advantage of the lower valuation. Very interestingly, when Vodafone entered this company, this was earlier only Idea, and when Vodafone entered this company, and that was 2015, the price was somewhere near 80 rupees. And as soon as Vodafone announced that they will acquire a substantial stake, the price went to about 120. So immediately there was almost a 50% jump in price, that a multinational owner is coming in. There will be a huge quality boost to the promoter quality, as a lot of people want to have quality names, and that unlimited and deep pocketed promoter is coming in. So all worries are now gone and everything is rosy here on. However, it was not to be like that, and Jio's entry into the Indian telecom space also hit most of the telcos, and the debt kept on increasing and it never could turn around. So from a point of 120 somewhere in 2015, it has had a slow death and reached about 4 rupees odd in early 2020 or even in 2019. And then from there it had jumped to about 12 rupees on hopes and in the current sort of bull run, only to give it all up and come back to 4-5 rupees. So the lesson to be learned here is that regardless of quality, if the business fundamentals are changing, then even quality management can do nothing about it. If the debt burden is so high and the operating space is so challenging and competitive, then nothing can help you, right? This was the chart that I was trying to show you, that the stock was bouncing here from around 7.5-8 rupees each time it came down, and a lot of people probably thought here that it will do the same and go up again, but it just dropped through. Against the Nifty, it was pretty much tracking the market till about 2015, and then once Vodafone entered and the landscape of the telecom industry kind of started to change, you can see the divergence is very, very clear, that the divergence of telecom industry versus the Nifty. So even with this backdrop, smart money should have or could have taken lesser and lesser bets, or at least started to move away from here until you found more evidence that this was meeting your goals. Another thing that I want to say here is that let's say you were playing momentum on this, and this was your chart here. Now 2019 to about 2015, you may have had many entries. You could have entered maybe somewhere here, you could have entered maybe somewhere here, but in every of those instances you would have exited somewhere near equivalent of about 155% from the start. So that would be about 70-80 odd rupees on this chart. If we see, if we go back to this chart, if I can go back to this chart, yeah, so you would have gotten out here somewhere based on many methods, whether it was Dow method or whether it was a percentage drop from the top or some long term moving. I should have plotted 200-day moving average also on this. It would have breached it somewhere around 60, 70, 80 rupees. So many exit strategies, whether they were of various nature, would have gotten you out between 60 and 80, and you would not have seen this pain of losing almost 100% of your capital. Maybe you would have stopped at 20%, 30%, 40% at max, and that is a big saving if you are able to save 60% loss in a stock, right? So what has smart money done? So some very rudimentary calculations about FII holding, and there may be some gross errors in this, but even they have lost 13,000 crores of money in this stock since the stock has been dropping. The retail, which holds about 17-18%, has gone up to I think 22-23% now. So this is very interesting that FII holding has dropped dramatically in the last year or 2 years, whereas retail holding has increased dramatically in the last 2 years. And it is now, I think, maybe 22-23%, something like that. So retail combined has lost probably 50, 60, 70,000 crores kind of money on this already. Banks are losing money on this. So, who is really making money? Maybe some short sellers are making money in an interim. But overall, I mean, it's a huge destruction of wealth. Now, again, to summarize, anything can happen to the stock any day, really. I mean, if it is referred to the insolvency, then probably, the stock price will go dramatically down further. And of course, there will be speculators who will keep speculating about the stock till the last day of its listing, if it were to delist at some point of time. The lessons to be learned in the past history have been: have an exit plan in mind, have some overlay over your fundamentals that will tell you that, okay, yes, while the going was good, the fundamentals are good and it is going up, but when things turn against you, the fundamentals stop helping you because you are already married to the story and you are believing that the good promoters will somehow find a way to save this sinking ship, and the promoters are now themselves abandoning the ship. Diversification is another lesson. Never concentrate, and this is my belief. A lot of people believe in concentrated bets, but I don't believe in that. I have suffered dramatically about 15 years back betting on telecom stocks only in a concentrated manner, and I learned my lessons. So no further concentration for me. If the concentration is there, it is within a portfolio, but that portfolio is not a concentrated bet for me in my equity holdings. And don't be dependent on one or two stocks to grow your wealth. So your growth should come from various sources, various assets, and the asset allocation across from equity into various other asset classes also. And this is the sort of learning from it. So my sense is that if you have significant money still invested in it, that whatever is left is still significant for you, I would think one should reduce it, because you can still lose a lot from here. But if the money that is left is of little value to you as a whole in terms of your net worth or in terms of your overall asset allocation or in terms of your equity allocation, then maybe play it like a lottery ticket. Or if somebody wants to come in at this stage, that also will be almost like a betting for a lottery, knowing fully well that your money, whatever your interest or you're investing, can go to zero. So this should be kept in mind, that whatever you hold today can go to zero. If you can sleep with that, if you can make yourself comfortable with that, stay invested. Otherwise, those who do trend following, those who do momentum investing, would not have touched the stocks ever since it broke 60, 70, 80 levels, and they would not have had any episode of buying this. So from that perspective, momentum investing really saves you from entering into any such stock, and if you have entered into any such stock, it has a dramatically clear exit plan that gets you out. So there is no issue of any kind, unless there is some fraud and overnight a company goes to zero. Then of course even God cannot help. So with these words, this video comes to an end. Thank you very much, and please keep watching all the videos and liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel. I'll see you in another video. Bye.